beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of Love, Sex and Magic. Today is a very special episode because it's the first time that I'm doing a solo episode. So it's very exciting. I'm here at my home in Costa Rica. We have the mic and the camera set up as well, and I'm not talking to anyone, I'm just talking to me, I'm talking to you guys. So it all feels a little bit new and special, but I'm really excited to dive into the topic that I have for you today, which is something that I'm just constantly getting asked about, which is, what does it really take to change your life? You know, I look back at my life and every single year upon year upon year, I do not recognize myself from who I was a year ago. And so really since I started this journey when I was, 2014, I think it was, so I was 24, I was in such a different place than I am now. And I want to share all about that and all about like the steps that I took, the different things that I really had to work on and integrate, and all these different pieces of the puzzle that had to speak to each other in order to create massive shifts and massive changes, both in my internal universe and my external universe. So before we dive into all that, I just want to share that we have been having the most incredible week this week. We've been diving into the 7 Divine Feminine Archetypes Challenge, which has been so rewarding. We have had 5,000 women from all over the planet take part in this free training and this free challenge where we've been exploring the Jungian archetypes. Oh my goodness, it's been so rich in the Facebook community. It's been so healing to read all of your posts and your discoveries about the maiden archetype, the mother archetype, the wild woman, the lover, the huntress, the wise woman, and of course the queen. Oh my goodness, it is just shaping up to be such an incredible week. I'm recording this on Tuesday, so we still have such an epic week to go. So by the time this episode is out, I'm really excited to share that my monthly membership, the Goddess Collective, is now open for enrollment. So this is the place to be if you really want to experience tremendous growth in your personal life, in your spiritual life, and just across all areas of your life, really. This is a place to be if you want to meet your soul sisters, dive into different topics with me as your mentor every single month. You will have behind the scenes podcast footage, you'll have coaching with me every month, you'll have breath work, you'll have astrology readings every month. All of this is in the monthly membership. So you can head to the link in the show notes to check it out, or go to melwells.com/collective. So let's get into the show. What does it really take to change your life? Wow. So let me start by taking you guys back to the very start of my personal development journey. Now, as many of you know, my inner journey really began when my dad passed away. That was whoa, that really shocked me so much, and it was the most I've ever felt, the most love that I've ever felt, the most heartache that I've ever felt, the most pain that I've ever felt. And it really woke me up to this life. It's so precious. I haven't been fully living. I haven't really been living to my fullest potential. I've spent so much time worrying about what other people would think of me, judging myself, worrying about other people's judgments constantly. It was honestly just nauseating. And I looked around me and I kind of had this realization of I just need to live my life. I just need to live the life that I want to live and stop caring so much about what other people are going to say. And so that was a real tremendous moment for me. That was when I started really deciding, right, I'm going to go on an inward journey of healing my relationship with food. That was the very first thing for me, because that was the thing in my life that was causing me the most pain, the most destruction. It was causing me the most hate for myself, honestly. So that was where I started. And as many of you know, that led me down this like journey of healing and personal growth. And I started realizing, wow, if I can change the way that I feel about my body and food, maybe I can change other parts of my life too. Maybe if I can actually shift how I feel and actually transform this eating disorder, maybe I can actually change the rest of my life too. Maybe I could actually create my dream life. And before this, I'd always kind of heard people talk about self-love or creating your dream life, and I'd be like, that shit is so woo-woo. Like, that's not for me. Those people are not grounded at all. As if you can do that. I really was like, I don't think so. And nevertheless, I proved myself that I could change the relationship I had with my body. I started developing these self-love rituals, this relationship with myself that was so different than anything that I'd have before. And I was so impressed by that growth that I'd experienced with my body and my relationship with food that I was like, well, if I can do it there, I can do it in the rest of my life. So before I knew it, I was devouring books and podcasts. Well, back then podcasts weren't really around, but it was like audio recordings, and it was like just listening constantly. Every time I was in the car, I was listening to something. Every time I was like on the train, I was reading a book. I was constantly trying to work on myself, and this is really what it has taken to to where I'm at today, which is not just living my dream life now, but like constantly creating visions and stepping into them. So that is the first thing that I want to start us off with today: vision. In order to change your life, you need to have a vision of where you want to be going. What do you want your life to look like? Really, if you could have anything in the world, if money was no object, if time and space, did not come into play, what would your life look like? What would be the dream for you? Maybe it's nothing like my life. I love living in the tropics. I love being in the jungle, being by the beach, having hot weather, like running my business from my laptop. That for me was my ideal of a dream life, meeting my soulmate. These are all things that I thought, this is my dream life, And I remember, like, I always wanted to do yoga on the beach. That was one of my big things, was like, I just want to be by the beach so I can do yoga on the beach. And at the time, I was living in Coventry in the UK, and I was in this house with my ex, and we had painted, and it was looking perfect, and it was, it really looked like I had this perfect life, right? This beautiful house, beautiful husband, everything was set up perfectly for us. And yet, gosh, inside I was like, why can I not be happy right now? Why does this feel like it's not my life? Why do I feel like there's this free spirit inside of me that's just desperate to come out? Why do I feel like I'm really a deeply spiritual woman that needs to go on this journey of self-discovery? Why do I feel like I don't fit in my friendship circles, right? And so it was really a time of extreme loneliness for me. I didn't really feel like I could express how I felt because I didn't want to hurt people. So I decided to just get clear. Okay, if I could dream of anything in the world, if I could create my just dream life, dream vision, what would that look like? What would it look like? And so I started to design it. I started to write out a day in my ideal life. So I started to create this vision, and I started an Instagram account, like a separate private Instagram account, where I would put pictures on there that like reminded me of my dream life, that connected me to my dream life. And I still have this exact account today, and I still add to it all the time, right? Because there are so many things on this vision board that have come to life. So having a vision, connecting with the vision all the time, and connecting with like, how is this going to feel in my body when I have this? Not just what it looks like, but like, how is it going to feel? So important, right? So vision, number one thing, you have to know where you're going. You have to know where you want to go. At least have an idea or a feeling or a picture in your mind. And the other thing is as well is not just where you want to be and what you want to have. Who do you want to be? Who do you want to be? Who is your future self? For me, I knew there was this adventurous spirit that was desperate to get out. I knew that there was this spiritual seeker that I hadn't nourished that was just like dying to be set free. So I knew that in my dream life, I would be able to talk about yoga, to talk about manifestation, to have conversations that took me deeper into, the universe and, what it means to have like deep connected conversations and real intimacy. I wanted that soul to soul connection, not just with a partner, but with my sisters, with friends. I wanted to feel seen and heard and understood. And I just knew that my community, my tribe were out there. I just knew it. So I kept connecting with this vision, right? And I didn't really share that vision that much with people because largely to the kind of, I guess because the people around me I knew would feel abandoned and would feel like I was leaving them or growing out of them. And I think because I knew deep down that, that was partially true. There were some people that were not a part of that vision. Now, some of my friends that I knew back then are still my friends now. They're still in my life. Not a huge amount because we don't have tremendous amounts in common anymore, but we still check in now and again. But there were a lot of people that I let go of that I had to, because I just knew that the values that were aligning with the future version of me were just not in alignment anymore. I knew that I was not going to want to be, at the bar, going out every weekend, having these kind of conversations that were just about the weather. I knew that was just like, it's just not, it might have been my past, it may be where I'm at now, but it's just not where I want to go. And I kind of just like surrendered, I really want to commit to this vision for my life. And the vision is more important to me than the stories of the past or the ties to the past or what will people think of me. So I just decided to make this vision a priority. And I knew that like along the way, I just trusted that along the way, I was going to meet the friendships, the connections that I was meant to meet along the way. So that is number one, vision. Connect with your vision. What is it that you really want to create with your one precious life? Second thing is courage. This takes a lot of courage because let me tell you, it is, once you've got that vision, it's going to feel so tempting to just stay in your comfort zone, to just stay where it feels cushy and comfortable and where everyone else is hanging out. Because going into the unknown, going into the unfamiliar, going into the special world, the outside world where all you've known is this comfort zone, this like safety, this security, it is scary. You have to have courage. So see if you can evoke the huntress energy for this one. So for those of you that have been doing the challenge, evoke the huntress energy to give you the courage to go out into the world on your mission. It's the hero energy, the heroine, right? So you've got to have that courage of like, what I think of myself is more important than what everyone else is gonna think. Sure, people are gonna talk. Let's give them something to talk about, I always used to be like, oh, what are people thinking? And I just decided, what? They're going to talk anyway. They've been talking already. They're probably still talking. Why not give them something to talk about? Why not make their lives more interesting? Let's just give them something to talk about. Who cares, right? And when I lost my dad, this was so obvious to me that, like, life just carries on, Like, I lost my dad and was going through the most awful grief. And I went on Facebook and life just carried on as normal. And I was like, wow, I've spent so much time thinking about what other people think of me. And actually, people are just carrying on with their own lives. No one actually cares. No one actually cares. And it was really hard, but it was actually really liberating, because then it meant that I started living my life realizing that actually no one cares. And even if they do, let's give them something to talk about, right? So having that courage to believe in your dreams, to pursue that vision, to pursue the life that you want, oh my God, it takes so much courage and so much self-love and trust. But honestly, once you start believing in yourself, and trusting that you've got what it takes and you can do it, you will start making those steps one at a time, step by step by step. And then you will look back and you'll be like, wow, I'm so glad I gave myself permission to take that first step. So that's your second one, courage. It takes courage. You know, when I started to change my life, I mean, honestly, guys, like I was working when I went to America. I went to America by myself when I was 21. I didn't know anyone there and I had no money, not a penny to my name at all. And I started working voluntarily for my yoga teacher. And I started working at his like reception, and at first I was like helping check out people, and it was in return for free yoga classes because I loved my yoga so much. I just didn't want to give up my yoga. So I was like basically volunteering to work at this yoga studio so that I could have free yoga classes. And then I was like, I'm actually gonna need some money to get by as well. So I asked my yoga teacher if I could take on extra work, and he was like, well, Mel, I don't really have any extra things for you to do at the yoga studio. You're kind of like already doing everything that I need, but you know, you could come around to my house if you want and you could like paint my walls. And I was like, yeah, I'll paint your walls. And he was like, you know, you could take my dogs for a walk. And I was like, I could totally do that. So I started working for my yoga teacher, and he was paying me, I think, $10 an hour. So about 6 or 7 quid. And I was painting his house, and I was painting his roof, and I was sweeping his garden, and I was taking his dogs for a walk. And all the time that I was doing that, I was listening to my programs. I was growing myself. I was learning about coaching. I was learning about what it really takes to shift your mindset. I was learning about manifestation. I was becoming, and I was growing into the woman that I wanted to be, even though at the time my life didn't look anything like the dream. I was so happy because I knew that I was on the way. I was so happy working, painting my yoga teacher's house. I was on his roof, tiling the roof, you know, going and doing coffee runs and smoothie runs. I loved it because I was on an adventure. I was moving towards my vision. And step by step, every single day I was listening to things in my ear, listening to downloads, audios, books, constantly. And I was growing into the woman that I wanted to be. And that took courage. I deliberately put myself outside of my comfort zone. I moved to a place that I'd always wanted to go to, but didn't know anyone there. And I just figured it out. Same as when I decided to move to Bali. I didn't know anyone there. You know, I left my beautiful home, beautiful partner, and I was like, I know that there's something else for me. So I went on this journey. I moved to the other side of the world. First I went to America, I did LA and New York again. Then I went to Bali. This is when my business was starting, you know, it was in the very first stages. I had just launched Intuitive Eaters Academy for the first time. So I was on my feet, but I wasn't abundant by any stretch of the imagination. You know, I was just figuring it out. But I had the courage and the trust in myself that I would just always figure things out. So when my heart and my soul called me to move to Bali, again, didn't know anyone there, didn't know what I was gonna do, like, didn't have a visa. I was just like, I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna figure it out, right? So the trust and the courage that you're just gonna figure it out, that really is a huge piece, because so many people are so scared to take a risk. They're so afraid to be outside of their comfort zone. But honestly, guys, every time you do it, the universe will catch you. Every time you push yourself and you trust yourself, universe is going to have your back. As Gabby B says, the universe has your back. And honestly, let me be a case study for you to show that every time I take a risk, every time I push myself outside of my comfort zone, every time I decide to do something just following my soul, without really knowing what the certainty is or how it's going to work out, it always works out because I figure it out. I have my own back, right? So when you have your own back, when you love yourself and you have your own back, it just works. You figure it out, right? Even if it means that you're working for your yoga teacher or tiling his roof, you're still happy because you're on the journey. You've got the vision. You're moving towards the vision. You're taking the steps, right? Okay. That was number 2. Number 3 is cheering yourself on, celebrating yourself. I am huge on this. I have always been huge on this. So important. Every time you take a step, you want to celebrate the shit out of yourself, babe. You want to celebrate. You want to dance. You want to give to yourself. You want to reward yourself. You want to give yourself a pat on the back and you want to be like, yes, sister, you inspire me, right? Be inspired and motivated by yourself. Look back, see how far you've come and be like, wow, I'm inspired. Yeah? When people ask me who my biggest inspiration is, honestly, I'm like, me. Like, I look back and I'm like, I inspire myself. And then I look forward and I like, that vision inspires me too. Like that vision that I have for my future, that inspires the hell out of me too. So I'm inspired by how far I've come in the past. Come from my past, and I'm so inspired by what I see in the future. I want to be able to be that future version of me and look back and be inspired by how far I've come from now, right? So be your own source of inspiration. Yes. So cheering yourself on, celebrating yourself is huge. Keep working on that vision. Keep cheering yourself on. Keep moving outside of your comfort zone. Celebrating yourself is key. Whether you want to take yourself out on a self-love date, whether you want to journal in your diary, whether you want to meditate and just like bask in this like, yes, I have done it. I am moving towards my vision. I'm so proud of you. You know, I'm saying to myself all the time, so proud of you, Mel. So proud of you. And I'll say to Rick, like, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for this. I'm proud of myself for that. And we will always, you know, be in the habit of celebrating each other's wins. Now, back in the day, when I was single, when I had just left my marriage and my home and I was completely out in the wilderness by myself, I didn't really have someone to do that with. So it was so important that I was doing it for myself. Every time I spent a couple of hours building my own website, which I was doing because I didn't have any money to spend on my website. I couldn't afford team members. I couldn't afford to have someone do my website for me. Are you kidding me? I'll figure it out myself, right? I have $10 an hour. I'll do it myself. So I was doing everything myself, but every time I hit some kind of a milestone, I celebrated the heck out of myself. I went and got my favorite meal, or, I watched my favorite show, or I took myself out for a hike, or I just sat and just danced, or I meditated, or something to celebrate myself, right? I just had a moment with myself, yes. Instead of being oh my God, you've got so far to go still. When are you ever going to get there? You're so useless where you are right now. Why aren't you further ahead? Which is so unhelpful. So unhelpful, guys. So instead of that, why aren't you further? You should be here by now. What have you done? Your life's a mess. You don't have your shit together. You should be having kids by now. None of that. I was just I'm going to celebrate myself because today I spent 2 hours making my website and I figured out how to get this button to work. Yes. That is a celebration. That is my celebration for today, right? So celebrating myself every step along the way has been absolutely crucial. Crucial. Okay, that was number 3. Number 4 is community. Oh my gosh, community. When you are out in the wilderness by yourself, moving towards your vision, it can be lonely AF. Lonely AF. And it's hard to find those people that you really connect with. But for me, an absolute godsend was like online, the online space. You know, I would save up to invest in a program or some kind of like a free community online that I could find, anything that I could afford, honestly, and I would just make friends in there. And then I would take that community onto WhatsApp and I would create WhatsApp groups, right? So I found these soul sisters that I really deeply connected with that wanted the same things as me, whether they were interested in yoga, whether they were traveling, whether they were just into personal development or reading the same books as me. I found some soul sisters, and it took me a long time, right? And that's why I decided to create the Goddess Collective, which you all know is my membership of sisterhood. This is my soul membership. So this has women from all over the world. I've created what I most needed back then, which was an epic community of soul sisters that wanted the same things as me. Women that wanted to talk about the universe, women that wanted to work on their trauma, women that wanted to talk about manifestation, women that wanted to call in their soulmates, women that wanted to talk about sex and sensuality, women that wanted to explore the archetypes and psychology, you know, women that wanted to love themselves more, women that had a vision for their lives, women that wanted to travel and go on adventures, right? This is what I have created inside the Goddess Collective. Every single month I deliver a workshop where we dive into a brand new topic and explore it. We have had topics such as what have we had lately? We've had masculine and feminine energies, self-pleasure is one coming up, authentic communication, obviously the archetypes, conscious relationships, finding your purpose. What else have we had? Money mindset, that's been a really popular one. There's been honestly so much in there, and on top of that, every single month I do a big long coaching call with people that can tune in live, and we do breath work at the end as well. We have a new addition to the collective as well, which is an astrological live reading with my beautiful friend Sarah from Bali, also known as She Sees the Stars on Instagram. She is my favorite astrologer, and she's going to be delivering a live reading every single month inside the Goddess Collective. On top of that, we have a book club, which means every single month I'm sharing with you a book that I love to go with the topic of that month. So you can dive into that book and explore that book and learn and grow alongside each other and alongside me. So it's such an incredible community. I've really found that who you surround yourself with on this journey is so key. And I'm sure you've all heard, you know, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And it's true. And it's also, you know, the people that you are messaging on a daily basis, the people, the communities that you're in online. You know, if you have been taking part in this Divine Feminine Archetypes Challenge with us, you'll know, like, the community has been on fire. It has literally been so lit. It has been popping. It has been so good. It has literally been the most amazing week ever inside that group. So that group's not going to last forever. That's, you know, this is a free challenge. That group's going to be shutting down in I don't know when, in a few days. So if you want that to continue, I really recommend that you get yourself in the Goddess Collective, or at least check it out. Because if you're wanting to continue your soul journey, if you enjoyed having me as a mentor, and you want to really just step it up a notch and make sure that you get to that vision, you need people supporting you. You know, it makes all the difference. I mean, you can go it alone, but it's going to take you a hell of a lot longer. If you've got people around you, if you've got that community where you can go in, you can share your wins, you can share what you're doing to work towards your vision, you can share what you're working on and what you're healing, it's just going to accelerate your journey massively, right? So community, who you surround yourself with, is so important. So that was number 4, community. Find your babes. Find your community. Find your soul family. So important. And then finally, investing in yourself, right? Now, for sure, like when I was at the start of my journey, I didn't have money to like hire a one-to-one coach. I didn't have the money to like go on a retreat to Bali. No. I was like saving up like I was like saving up to try and buy my first online program, right? So if you are someone who wants to get to your vision fast, honestly, guys, a huge piece for me has been investing in myself. I never used to invest in myself. I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest. I was spending all my money on food and going out and shopping. And then, but for some reason, when someone presented an online course to me that would change my life, I'd be like, nah, no. I don't know what I was thinking. Now, oh my God, try and stop me. Try and stop me from investing in myself. Every year of my life since 2014, I have invested more and more and more and more. Very first time I invested in myself, it was like $500 on a course, and I was paying monthly. Yeah, I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm just going to figure it out, because I figured, well, I pay monthly for a gym membership. I pay monthly for a yoga membership. I pay monthly for my phone. I can pay monthly for my growth, right? I can figure it out and pay monthly so that I'm investing in my growth and getting the community and the healing and the self-improvement and development that is going to actually change my life. Because a phone contract, not going to change my life. Gym membership, not really going to change my life, right? But investing in myself, yes, going to change my life. So I started small. Every single year since then, though, I have invested more and more and more and more. You know what, guys? Today we're in October. By the end of this year, 2020, yes, even though it's 2020, even though everyone thinks the world is ending, and even though, people, there's been like a crash in the economy, I have still invested in myself. By the end of this year, I will have invested 6 figures in my personal growth. That's in different mentors, in different trainings, in different certifications, in different courses. That's over 100K that I've invested in myself just this year alone. Now, I know that's going to blow some of your freaking minds, and I know that, that's a lot, right? But that's how much I know that investing in myself accelerates me. That's how much I trust. And that's how much I just know for sure that investing in myself gets me where I want to get to. I've got myself to a place now where I can invest in one-on-one mentors. If I see a retreat, I can book it. If I see a certification that I want to take, I'm going to take it. But back then, I was starting real small. I was like, how can I do a payment plan on a course? What can I do and pay monthly? So that's why the Goddess Collective is exactly perfect for you if you're at this level. If you're not yet at the level where you can be hiring mentors and one-on-one coaches, if you're not at that stage of your life where you can afford to book retreats and huge big trainings, then I've created the Goddess Collective so that you can start really small and pay monthly. So you're going to get over $8,000 worth of content inside the Goddess Collective, and all you're going to pay is $47 a month. That's like less than a lot of gym memberships. That's like a phone contract, right? And for that value, for $47 a month, you're going to get access to the most incredibly mind-opening, soul-shaking acceleration workshops on all these different topics. You're going to get coached by me every single month, right? For $47. You're going to get breath work with me. You're going to get astrology readings. You're going to get a book club, right? You're going to get a workbook every month to dive into. You're going to get a community of soul sisters from all over the planet for this tiny price of $47 a month. And the price is actually going up on I believe it's the 8th of October. So because this is, obviously such a crazy deal, it has been the same price for 2 years now. So we are gonna move it up real soon. So if this calls to you, you've got to get yourself inside the doors before the fees go up, my loves, because every single month I add more and more content. So every month the value of the membership goes up and up and up and up and up, right? So if you join now, it's the most affordable that you're ever going to be able to get it. So investing in myself was huge. And whether you join the collective or not, invest in yourself. Decide, where do I want to invest my money? If I really want to change my life, Who are the mentors that can help me get there? Who's living a life that inspires me? You know, who do I know that has made their dream life a reality? And how can I learn from them? Yeah, I never, ever, ever regret investing in myself, because this is how I look back and I'm like, my mindset was so different back then. I have changed and evolved so much. And it's because of these 5 things that I've shared with you today. Vision, having a vision, moving towards that vision. Number 2, courage and trust. Number 3, cheering yourself on and celebrating yourself every step of the way. Community, finding your soul family is so important. And finally, number 5, investing in myself. Investing in yourself is so, so key. Please take that away from this. You know, where are you spending your money? Could you be investing that money back into you if you really want to change your life? You know, that's what it takes. So I hope this episode has been really powerful for you, especially as my first solo episode. I'm quite happy with how this went. I feel like it went on for longer than I expected it to, but I obviously had just like a lot of tangents to go down, a lot of things to share with you guys. So I would love if you share this episode. Share it with someone that you know that wants to take those steps to change their life as well. Share it on your Instagram story so I can repost it and see that you're enjoying it. And drop into my DMs. Tell me, like, did you like this first solo episode? What do you think? What do you want to hear me speak more about in these solo episodes? And I would love to keep recording them for you, as well as all the amazing interviews with fabulous guests, of course. So, my darlings, I hope that this was powerful. Let me know your insights, and I'll see you on the next episode.